Hi gang, today I've got an email in front of me from our good customer Harry. Harry, I'm going to apologize. I didn't put a date on this, but I know it was a long time ago. It's been probably at least a year-ish, maybe it was last summer. Harry reached out to me and I'm just going to read you what he said. He said, love the work as always. Thank you, Harry. Would you consider doing a video on handle poles, the different types, sprung versus stiff, OVP versus stock steering, necessary of breather tubes, how they should fit in the pole. Surely they would leak water into the hull if you submarine or roll. How far up the pole they should go. Length in relation to weight and type of riding. Poles are expensive, and a lot of us, and he puts in parentheses, especially outside of the West, will not have an opportunity to ride many before we settle on a length, brand, type, etc. And I told him, Harry, I think that's an excellent idea. It's perfect for a video. I'm sorry for taking so long to do this. I haven't had any skis with poles here for a good comparison. At the moment, the shop is full, and we have all kinds of different handle poles here. And I thought, man, let's do our handle pole video. So here we are. We're going to do a video today on handle poles, and hopefully I answer all of Harry's questions, and I hope you guys like all this. So stay tuned. Welcome to Watercraft Talk. All right. So come on over here, Chris. We're going to start with, we've got a Richter here, and this one has, just to talk about poles, this is an unsprung pole. Yes, no pole, no spring. And it has tubes, breather tubes. Aftermarket hull, a lot of times these aftermarket freestyle, free ride hulls do have breather tubes. And it's good. This particular ski's got a DASA 1000 in it, and they need to breathe. And you're going to bring in some good air, and doing it through the handle pole is a good idea. This particular ski does not have a spring on it. That was one of Harry's questions, sprung versus stiff. This one really isn't even that stiff, but it does stay-ish. You know, some guys, and it's a preference thing. Like I always say, there is no right or wrong. It's more about what you like and what feels good to you. Many of you guys are doing aerial maneuvers, and if you're upside down, if you're Mark Gomez, for instance, and you're upside down and you're letting go of the handle pole, doing a no-hander barrel roll or flip or whatever, you want that handle pole to stay where you let go, so you know where to find it when you put your hands back on, and it doesn't go up if you're upside down, or it doesn't go down on the hood or whatever. So a tight pole many times is more for guys doing tricks and things where you're letting go of the bars and you want the handle pole to stay put. But it's a preference thing. I see a lot of other guys running tight poles just even on Superjets. So there is no right or wrong. It's all depends on what you like. So this particular pole is a Rick Roy. This is a genuine Rick Roy cast pole. These are great, and some of my favorite. This is an early version. Not that that's bad. Just a little different pad design. These type of poles, I really like them because they are adjustable. As in, you can take these 3 bolts and loosen them, and there's 3 bolts up here, and you can lengthen the pole or shorten the pole as much as you want. You can get longer tubes, you can cut these tubes, you can make it very short, you can make this pole super duper short, again for flip skis, very small skis. This Richter is an FR, which is kind of like a Superjet, an early version Edge. You don't want a super short pole on this. I assume this customer is not doing backflips, and this is not a flat water backflip, short little stubby tennis shoe sized ski. Handle pole length is a preference. There is no right or wrong. It's whatever feels good to you. A taller guy and a shorter guy are going to want different pole lengths. So I can't really say what's right for anybody, because you just need to feel it. And this is why I like these adjustable poles. We had one of the first ones out back in the early days on my SXR, two-stroke, and my boys were racing, and my one son liked the pole at one spot, and my younger son liked the pole at another spot, and we were changing the pole length between motos, changing it an inch, shorten and lengthen it on the beach between motos, and you can't do that with a solid pole. So I love these poles, and Rick is the originator of the adjustable pole, and I like to support him. There's a lot of other brands that have copied it, but so the steering types, we'll just put a light on this. This is an early version. That's a Rick Roy steering, and it's an early version, and this guy is set up where he's got it. It could be OVP. Actually, it's not early version. That's the standard. No, I'm sorry. It is. It's could be OVP, but he's got this adapter on there where the handlebars are back a little bit. We'll show you OVP. OVP stands for over the pivot, and that is where your bars are directly over the pivot. And if you back up a second, Chris, I'm gonna just I wanna be on camera and show. I'm going to do a movement here. So OVP steers very much like this. A stock steering system or anything with any kind of a plate, you put the bars back, and if your pivot is here, for instance, when you turn, you're swinging very much like this. Now, and I'm exaggerating that just so you can see. This one being back behind the pivot, there isn't hardly any swing. It's very minimal, and it's going to feel very much like OVP. And again, the setup is this has got riser bars on it. Some guys put the riser bars so they're straight up and down. This particular customer has them kind of angled back. Again, that's giving him a little more length. It's going to give you a little more swing action, but it's setting him back on the tray further. Maybe his poles could come out a little bit, but whatever feels good. There is no right or wrong. I always just say, it's nice to be able to experiment and see what feels good for you. This is just one type. So we've got another type here. I'm gonna pull this one around over here, Chris. We're gonna just stack them back up here because we'll show all of them. This is the same pole. This is a Rick Roy cast pole. This one, though, has very stiff. This one's very stiff. This has a steering plate on it, similar to our style steering plates that we sell. This is also it's a Blosian. It's a Blosian plate steering system. And it has the traditional V-shaped bars on it instead of the riser bars. Another thing to comment about, this is on a Kawasaki. And if you look, and we got another Kawasaki we'll show you in a minute, so stay tuned, but this has got Yamaha style steering on it. The Yamaha plate mounts on the top. Kawasaki plate usually mounts on the bottom, and I've got an SXR here, so we'll show that. I prefer this. Once you're going to like whatever you get used to is the big thing, but I prefer Yamaha type steering, and I prefer it on a Kawasaki over the Kawasaki type steering. So here's just another version. Again, it's a very short plate, not quite over the pivot, but you're really not going to notice any swing with that. And this pole is set. This has got a spring. That's why it's so hard. It's set very stiff, and this one does have a spring in it. So that's why it was kind of fighting me to come down, but it does stay, it's stiff enough that, well, it comes up a little bit. You get a little bit of a rise where you push it all the way down, and that we call that where it hovers. That's got a good strong spring in it, which is good. That helps with fatigue, and one thing I've noticed too, if you have an extra light spring and you fall off, many times your handle pole goes all the way up like this, and it stays up. And now you come around the backside, and you come into the tray, and you can't reach your handlebars to hit the start-stop button. Many times, again, we'll have, this has got a limiting rope on it, and this goes down to here, so that keeps your pole from going all the way up. You can now grab the limiting rope and pull this down so you can get on the handlebars and get to your start-stop switch. So there's a limiting rope idea for you while we're talking handle poles. So there's that. This is just another version. I'm gonna come right back in line over there again, Chris. We'll just roll this one right up here. This is a billet light handle pole, and this one is same thing, is adjustable. We didn't show the back side. It has a safety bar that you put in there and tighten up, and that after you adjust it, you tighten up this bar here. This one on this Superjet does have OVP steering, and the OVP steering is adjustable. So this one, this has fat bars, not riser bars. These are just straight fat bars, and we've got true OVP steering. But I do have it, I've got it set back a little bit. The handlebars are just a few millimeter back over the pivot. And I want to show this. So this is a 2015 Superjet, and I built this for this customer. And because of the OVP steering is really designed for the earlier version, and I've shown this before in other videos, on the RRP products, on the handle pole pad support, it is drilled and tapped here. And I put bolts in here with a nut so I can adjust the steering stop, and I'm going to turn it. This is, again, 08 and later, Superjet has a shorter throw cable, and you cannot just put this on without doing either backdating the cable, or on a Rick Roy system like this, it's very easy. I just put bolts in with a nut, and that changes the steer stop position, and now it doesn't bottom out on the cable. You can and will break a cable, or you need to adjust the adjustment here for the cable for your ratio. You need to adjust it in further so it doesn't bottom out, but then you're losing all your quick steer ability and defeating the purpose of having an aftermarket steering system many times, in my opinion. So that's something we do on the Rick Roy stuff with a stock cable on an 08 and later Superjet. Here's a stock Kawasaki, and I'll bring this one around over here, Chris, and we'll just look at this just because it is totally different than what we've been looking at so far. This is an SXR that's in for a build, and this is totally stock steering plate and steering system. It is underneath, like I was talking, instead of being on the top. And the angle is different on the Cowies, whereas if you go to an aftermarket handle pole, it's a little straighter feeling and just a little better feeling. The handle pole, as you can see, this handle pole has an arch to it, and then the steering is arched down. And if you look across at those other ones, Chris, you can see that the Rick Roy poles have no arch. It does have a little bit of an angle at the head, but it totally is a different feeling, and I really prefer that feel much more. It's gotten to the point where, and I've ridden a lot of years with these. Kawasaki has used that handle pole since 1992. I've had a ton of 750s and SXRs and ridden with that pole for years, but I tell you, once you get away from it and go to something else, and if you go back to a stock one, I just absolutely hate these. I hate the feel, I hate the angle, just hate it. But that's your stock system there, Harry, on a Cowie, and you can totally see the difference. And again, under steering mount instead of over, and then it's just a bushing instead of the aftermarket systems have bearings. I need to circle back. We'll talk about tubes, Harry, and I forgot, we talked a little bit about them, and you were asking about length, so we'll do that in just a minute. For now, we're going to come over, and here's another Superjet that we're building. This one has an aftermarket handle pole on it with a stock steering plate. So here's a Yamaha stock steering plate. Even though this is a very early version It's either AC or it's probably even MMF. This is a very early, old aftermarket aluminum pole, but very much the same dimensions and fit and feel as a stock square nose pole. This one does have a spring in it, and stock steering. So the stock Yamaha steering, again, is on the top. This one has bushings, but the plate is very long. If you compare, if you come up and look at the top here, Chris, and let me get my flashlight back out here. Oops, sorry, and I conked the... If you look at the pivot point here versus where the handlebars are, you can see, or maybe we even see from underneath, you can see how far, you know, over the pivot would be right here, and our handlebars are way the heck back here. And you very much get that swing side to side feel, which is fine. Again, if you're used to it, it's fine. But so to talk about breathing tubes, typically your stock hulls breathe through the hood, and they've got your cables go down through a boot like this with a serrated boot, and you have a zip tie on it, and that seals it all and keeps water out. If you come back over here again, Chris, and if you can fit, I'm gonna just pull the garbage can out of the way, and we'll move this fan, and we'll pull this Richter out a little bit. We've got breather tubes here. Harry was specifically asking about the breather tubes. I did talk a little bit about how they do. This is where it breathes, but all your cables and everything go through that as well. There is no, generally I come up in the tubes maybe 4 or 5 inches and down through the hull a few inches. And many times too, I'll put a clamp underneath. So it generally they go in very tight, but I'll put a clamp underneath so they don't end up pulling out. If you're up in the tubes enough, they don't come out. Can you get water in them? Sure. If you tip your ski upside down and your handle poles go under, you're going to have water running in, but you would anyway, even if you were breathing through the hood, you're going to get water in. But these work really well. They're better for when you're doing tricks and submarines and sinking and things. If you've got water coming over the hood and maybe not over this, you're not bringing any water in. Even if you do go down deep, a lot of times you don't suck water in here unless you turn it upside down. So it's just another way of breathing. And again, routing your cables through too is kind of nice with that. And it just is a good clean look as well. So there you go, Harry. There's our video about handle poles. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for asking. I do listen to you guys. It may take me a little bit to get to you if you've got suggestions. There was nothing more than I just didn't have any skis here with handle poles worth talking about for a while. And I wanted to do I knew at some point we'd have a good selection here, just like now, where we can show all the differences and do it all at once. So I hope you like that. Again, I love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for reaching out. When you're out and about, please be nice to each other. And the next time, we'll see you out on the water.